Hello Greyhounds! As we are eagerly waiting for the 4th season of Ted Lasso to be released, why don't we take a stroll down memory lane to see if we can remember all the pop culture references and Easter eggs that this delightful show made in 3 adorable seasons. Starting right after kickoff with Rebecca giving us the first pop culture reference of the episode when she's intensely staring at a drawing by Hockney. She offers it to Higgins, who rejects it, saying it probably costs millions. The painting, appropriately called The Football Player, was last publicly sold for £22,500 and not millions. David Hockney is a brilliant British artist with a fantastic backlog of work, still active and inspired in his late 80s. If you ever chance upon one of his exhibitions, you are guaranteed to like it. Next, Rebecca moves on to comment on the apparently visible testicles of the soon-to-be ex-coach of Richmond AFC, naming them Liam and Noel after the Oasis feuding brothers. If you had maybe forgotten Oasis at the time Ted Lasso originally aired, you probably have remembered them by now, as the Britpop juggernauts had a remarkably successful reunion tour in 2025. And if anyone is in doubt, the best Oasis song is Live Forever. Coach Lasso and Coach Beard are flying to London with Dubai Air, one of the sponsors of the club, that will also feature in future plot lines. Both coaches pick books as their choice of in-flight entertainment. I will not be discussing books in these videos, as I have made an exhaustive video on the subject already. In trying to tick all of the London boxes, the show falls into a frequent trap that American films and shows fall into: the complete disregard of its geography. Coach Ted and Coach Beard land in Heathrow and ask the driver for a pit stop to Tower Bridge. Now, Heathrow Airport is actually quite close to Richmond, and it would take around half an hour in a taxi to get to Richmond, although technically their stadium was in Crystal Palace. Going from Heathrow to Tower Bridge in a taxi is a complete madness. It would take 1.5 hours of grueling London traffic to get there, and another hour to get back to Richmond. Total insanity. Ted quips that he knows that this is Tower Bridge and not London Bridge because it is still standing, referring presumably to the traditional nursery rhyme, London Bridge is falling down. But of course, London Bridge is also standing, and it is the bridge right next to Tower Bridge. He also quips that they are not in Kansas anymore, which is a line from a film that originates almost all pop culture references, The Wizard of Oz. Since Dorothy used it in that classic, it has been used as a metaphor for being away from home. But of course, Coach Ted and Coach Beard are actually from Kansas City, as is Jason Sudeikis himself. Another sneaky Kansas City reference is the hat that Coach Beard wears. It's a wink to a friend and former basketball teammate of Jason Sudeikis, Chris Sainz. The final Kansas City reference of the episode is the t-shirt Ted wears at the end of the episode, which is an amalgamation of the big 4 barbecue restaurants in Kansas City: Joe's, Arthur Bryant's, Gates, and Jack Stack Barbecue. You can buy this t-shirt, by the way. It's made by the 3KC brand, which is the brand created by Brendan Curran, a friend of Jason Sudeikis, who was inspired by the 3 Kansas City greats: the Kansas Chiefs, that's the team where Taylor Swift's fiancé plays American football in, the Kansas Royals, the city's Major League Baseball team, and barbecue. Ted would also like to see Abbey Road, referring to the Beatles album with the famous cover where the Fab Four were crossing a street in West London that launched conspiracy theories and imitators. This is indeed a real street in London, which gave its name to the legendary recording studios that still exist and outside of which the photograph was taken. Upon seeing the utter disdain in the eyes of Roy Kent, Ted references that the last time he saw eyes that cold, they were going head-to-head with Roy Scheider, which Coach Beard takes to be a reference to the eyes of the shark from Jaws, presumably. But Ted means a different Roy Scheider film, All That Jazz. I'm not sure whose eyes he's referring to from that film. Maybe Jessica Lange's? Ted and Beard adorn their office with several inspirational photographs of famous sporting upsets and boxing legend Muhammad Ali. This hockey one is from the so-called Miracle on Ice, when the US national hockey team beat the heavily favored Soviet Union team in the 1980 Winter Olympics, which has been made into film several times. Then there's the unexpected buzzer-beater victory of North Carolina State, coached by Jim Valvano in the finals of the Division I college basketball tournament in 1983. Next is a photo of boxer James Buster Douglas defeating Mike Tyson in a fight in Japan in 1990, when Tyson was favored to win 42-1. And Coach Beard also hanged a framed and signed photo of the Pyramid of Success by basketball coach John R. Wood. I agree with all these building blocks, but I also think it helps to be told to be good at basketball. Ted is apparently a fan of Markie, the legendary rapper who passed away in 2021 and was referred to as the Clown Prince of Hip Hop, whom he references to a flummoxed Keely after an extensive beatboxing session. We all sympathize with Hugh Keely. And let's not forget about Tommy, the ginger kid that asks Ted for an Aussie. He will turn up in pivotal episodes with more hot takes throughout the show. I'll leave you with some stray notes. In addition to Dubai Air, the club is sponsored by Westways Bank, Lacoman Spray, and Verani Sports, all of which are equally fictional. The club's Latin motto, meanwhile, Gradarius Firmus Victoria, which apparently should mean taking small steps towards victory, is probably inspired by the Arsenal motto Victoria Concordia Crescit, which roughly translates to victory grows through harmony. Meanwhile, the team's welcome package that awaits the coach in his new flat reads, "Welcome Coach, Team Lasso." And that's it from me for the first episode. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking or subscribing. As always, thanks for watching.